What's up, everybody? It is a Blue Drake, and today I am excited to finally talk about the gameplay of TEARDOWN. So, if you don't know what TEARDOWN is a game that we've been following for months, maybe even years now. It's been at least a year since I first covered this game on this channel, and this is one of the most advanced simulations of physics in watch this in a voxel-based game that I have ever seen. So now the developer is actually giving out preview copies of the game so that different influencers and people like that can actually experience the game. And I have finally been able to see in-game footage of TEARDOWN. And it's absolutely amazing. Now, the first version is going to be a little bit bare bones, so there's probably not going to be too much content in the beginning, but when you take into consideration the fidelity of simulation of all of the things that are going to be in the game, I think it's going to still be absolutely amazing. So, first thing about this release of TEARDOWN. So when TEARDOWN comes out, and again, keep in mind all of these things will likely change in the future as the game continues development. But as of right now, there's 2 maps in the game. There is a tutorial level, but there's also 2 maps that you can go through and you can completely destroy. Now, there's also 2 game modes. There's your standard sandbox game mode, but there's also this game mode where you fight off a helicopter. So you have a helicopter actually where you have a helicopter actually hunting you down, and you have to go throughout the map accomplishing different objectives while this helicopter is trying to kill you. You also have 2 other versions of this game mode. You have a game mode where you have to shoot propane barrels and they explode. I guess you kind of like hunt down little propane barrels and just like target practice mode. And then you have another mode where you have to actually break into buildings, steal key cards, and then get to an escape vehicle. This is amazing. In order to actually, in order to complete the heist. This never gets old. This is amazing. In addition to that, there's a bunch of different weapons in the game. You obviously have your basic sledgehammer. There is also a shotgun and a bunch of other equipment like C4, things like that. You can actually collect these throughout the game world. So in the game world, there's going to be boxes. You can pick them up. They'll have weapons inside of that. Now, I know a lot of you guys have been asking about the destruction mechanics. So there's actually a couple things to take into consideration. The first thing is that you can't burrow straight into the ground. So there is a very thin, there's a very shallow amount of soil that's actually destructible, which I guess makes sense. So for instance, you're destroying these boxes and stuff like that, but you can notice the C4 or whatever, it's not actually creating these giant craters in the ground, and that's because there is not much ground that is destructible. Again, this might change, but as of right now, primarily the environment is destructible, but you can't just go straight down. And the maps are a medium size. Like, these aren't like infinitely procedurally generated Minecraft maps or something like that go on for forever. There is a box that actually keeps you inside of the game world. I would say, I don't know, I mean, I guess to guess it's like a ½ kilometer in size? I don't really know. I'm not going to break out a measuring tape in this game. And another thing about the destruction mechanics, the entire game is not completely simulated all the time. And what I mean by this, because a lot of you guys have actually asked about this, when it comes to the destruction mechanics, even though there is a lot of things that are destructible and fully simulated constantly, like this tree, boom, blowing up trees with lightning. But for instance, like the buildings, and this might actually be more of a gameplay decision than an actual technical limitation, but the buildings, you actually have to destroy all of the walls around the building before the building will come down. Now, there are some things like, for instance, you have like this this little outpost, and if you catch this on fire, this outpost, there's some little things that are fully physics simulated all the time. So if you destroy one leg, it'll kind of like topple over. But the houses or some of the larger structures, you have to destroy all of the walls. So even if there is a skinny little piece of 2x4 only on one side of the house holding up the entire second floor, it will still be there until you destroy that one little piece. But it depends. It changes from objective to or it changes from building to building. But that is more or less what the first version of Teardown, at least in its current state. I mean, who knows what else they'll add before a proper release, but that is what the game in the current state is capable of doing, which is really cool. Like, in addition to all of the other things, like, so for instance, the fire extinguisher, and the fire effects here, you know, like, so for instance, you could light like a truck on fire, and then you can drive this truck into the side of a building, and then the entire thing will like catch up it'll catch on fire and just go plume up in smoke. It's really incredible. Like, there's a lot of toys to play with in terms of like the sandbox. But even though the maps are relatively small and they don't go on for forever, I would say that the fact that all of these things are fully simulated and they're so much fun to play with more than makes up for it. Now, additionally, there's an additional kind of small technical note. There is a RTX shader that was actually written by the developer, so a real-time ray tracing effect, but it actually does not require an RTX graphics card to run. Yes, you heard that correctly. So you can actually get RTX without having an RTX card. Which is, I mean, I guess that's for people. You still need to have a pretty powerful graphics card, but you don't need to have like the RTX graphics card. And the reason for this is because this RTX implementation was custom written by the developer himself. It was written from scratch, so it's kind of a completely different system, which I actually think is really cool. And all of the other things that you would expect are in the game. So, like, you have these ropes, you have the smoke effects, you have the fire. All of the different materials will react as you would expect. Breaking all of the different pieces and all of the different parts of the environment, it feels really, it feels satisfying. Like, there's a weight. There's a weight to it. Like, when you destroy things, it feels crunchy. It feels big. It feels like thick. Feels thick when you blow stuff up, and that's a feeling that I'm really happy that they were able to retain. Like that. I mean, if we're gonna have a destruction system, no matter how advanced it is, I like it to feel, you know, slick and like punchy when you blow stuff up. But everything would react as it would. So, you know, the trees have leaves and different branches. Those will snap. Even the vehicles. So, for instance, here's like a car. If you wreck the car, you know, different types of vehicles with different types of materials will react differently. I mean, you can bust out the headlights, obviously. But in addition to that, all of the vehicles are completely destructible. You'll have different pipes that will bend under the weight of a vehicle if you were to drive on top of it. It's really cool. Like, it's really exciting. The amount of stuff that they have working that's really fun to play with is amazing, and it's just the beginning. Now, from what I have seen, there is no Steam Workshop support as of yet. I'm not sure if I missed that. It doesn't look like you can actually create anything currently, which is really a shame. I could be wrong about that. Do not quote me on that at all. That is subject to change. It's just, it's in the gameplay that I've seen so far, that has been released with the builds that they've been giving out. I have not seen that yet. Nothing's been mentioned. I'm sure that will change in the future, but for now, that's not something that exists. But yeah, besides that, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you subscribe for all things Teardown. I can't wait to show you more about this game. It is right around the corner, guys. This is going to be absolutely incredible. I'm so excited. Can't wait to play this. And if you want to play this as well, make sure you let me know down in the comments. I hope that at some point I can see the kind of creations that you guys are going to create in this game. If they open up like workshop support and stuff like that, it's going to be really exciting. All right, until next time, remember, as always, Blue Drake loves you. Take care, boys.